things you miss. Like I'd love to warmth, to be around that person, to hold them, this and that. But essentially what happens is that distance is as much real as it is psychological, right? Uh, you can even be close to someone and still be really distant.
Love is constant. One can never stop love, infatuation, or even simple crushes. We're human beings, the smartest species around, and so, naturally, we learn to adapt. But sometimes the things we have to do comes at a cost. Some say technology is a godsend and is a better tool to communicate than being around someone in real life, while others say the feeling of being around someone and have a conversation ensue almost organically is a feeling one can never recreate online. At a time like this, while we're all faced with countless number of challenges every single day, where does dating and relationships fall in? For this film, I asked three of my friends at various different stages in their dating and love lives to see how they find themselves on the spectrum and how they work around the technicalities of what we call the new normal.
I wouldn't call it just dating, I would call it companionship. And I would also say that companionship is a part of your life, whether you're 60 or whether you're 20. What I do feel happens in Corona is that past a certain age, you keep your partners extremely close. You either marry them, you live in with them, you work with them,
So you're in a relationship.
if you say so. Yes, I am.
What is that one thing that you miss the most about
Hmm.
that relationship?
A lot of things you miss. Like I'd love to warmth, to be around that person, to hold them, this and that. But essentially what happens is that distance is as much real as it is psychological, right? Uh, you can even be close to someone and still be really distant. In Especially when you're trying to maintain that connection with someone and you are separated, what happens is that each and every time to quench that separation, you have to work harder. You have to work harder. So it's like what I miss is being around someone without trying to be around them. How about that? Does that make sense?
What about in aspects like sex or physical intimacy?
In terms of physical intimacy, there is no physical intimacy. Like, how what do you mean affect? There is none. It's like if you're asking someone, how is the lack of food treating your nutrition? There is no food. Like, there is nothing to treat my nutrition.
How do you deal with this?
Well, 3 times a day, I do my prescribed meditation. When my hand starts to cramp, that is when I truly get into trouble. That's not like I mean, of course, that is part of it. I'm guessing porn sales have skyrocketed through the roof, illegal downloads and all that as well. But like, that's only part of the equation. One of the ways I'm dealing with is not just through that, but also like I use two pillows now, one for sleeping, one for holding. How does it feel to hold or to touch a purring cat? Can you describe it truly using words? If you were to have been in that very personal, very private, very intimate moment, uh, because it is, even though there's a species to species gap, it still is an intimate moment because you can feel that connection radiating off of that animal, and you can feel it in yourself as well. And physical is so close. It's not just so close. It's not so pivotal. It's just a part and parcel of what we do. It's how we express love. It's how we express security. It's how our bodies get a dose of dopamine. Like there are so many factors: psychological, sociological, cultural. I can keep giving scientific buzzwords, but when it comes to emotional things, the list goes on either way.
I mean, when it comes to the whole online interaction part of it, it's been I have both the sides of it, like at the same time where I'm good at it and really bad at it. Where online I'm able to kind of, you know, meet and kind of have that initial conversation with a lot of strangers, or just people, you do like the weird little flirting thing online and all that. That's it's fairly easy to do, because it's very convenient because you're also so far, there isn't the real pressure of anything actually turning into something. But at the same time, for it to turn into something, you need to kind of go back to your phone, keep texting with these people, follow up. Now, like now with the lockdown and everything, all these Zoom dates and everything are quite a thing. And to just kind of maintain that is where is one of my shortcomings, because it's so hard. Like it's just not the same, I don't enjoy it, but that's just me. I don't enjoy like just like a long distance thing or like an online thing or something. But I also think right now, if you ask me, I kind of hate it a little more because we've been starved of the real thing for so long. So if I could preferably avoid the whole online part of it, I would definitely very like easily just give it up. Just give it up. Because when you start, or when the lockdown starts, you're so far from everybody that for such a long time, you kind of really starved of any kind of physical contact. And then I read this really sweet thing online where I was like, every day, like it's really essential for a human being to kind of have physical contact on a daily basis. And so, after the point, what I started doing is, every time my mom comes back from office and she'd be like, say, she'd be in the kitchen or she'd be at the dining table, she'd be doing something, I used to just go and hug her, and she'd be like, this is weird, love. And it was just the way I decided to fulfill that little space that social distancing left in me. And then my mom and dad also, now that everyone's at home, say on a Sunday after lunch and everything, when everyone's in the kitchen, and my dad would like say bump to my mom, and then they started calling like little stuff like that their lockdown romance, and it was just really cute. But no, I don't think virtual can kind of help at all. I don't know. Probably porn websites like skyrocketed in terms of viewers, high chances. Let's say even like people buying sex toys must have like gone insane. But you can try all those things, but it's just not the same as just lying down next to someone someone you trust, someone you love, and just sharing that moment with them.
Whatever it is, it's very difficult to fit in. There's not a set of things that you can do to succeed at this, and there's no formula as such. So it's sometimes too disappointing. Sometimes it's great, and then sometimes it's again you don't know where you are. It's a very draining process. Relationships do not work even in a very conducive environment where everything is supposed to go right. So I don't think it's the environment which is the issue. Of course, it's an added loss. I don't know. But in itself, I think the task of dating is so challenging that an added challenge is just like it makes you give up too easily. Maybe like you keep trying things and none of them work, and then you're like, "Arey, chodo, I don't want to." Substitute for physical intimacy. It's painful. It's very easily you can feel the absence of something like that. But you can create intimacy as such. Cyber sex, whatever it is, it has its own intimacy, is what I think. And it's a very different. It's like if you see the same person IRL, it won't feel the same. So that is something I noticed, which is strange because you always expect, yeah, if you see this in IRL, like in real life, then so it would be so much better. But it's not. It's not better. It's just different. You don't know how to compare it. So something can be built. It's not impossible. It's not near impossible. But then again, it's not the same as before. That is the issue.